Hey everyone, I am Cyndi, and welcome to my next episode Transform Your Future with Strategic Goal Setting for Personal Finances. And today we will explore how you can achieve financial success through strategic goal planning and setting of realistic financial goals by setting clear, actionable goals that really can transform your future. And I'm here to make it very simple for you. I really do feel for at least for beginners, setting goals financially, making them clear, actionable, measurable objectives can really help guide you to those goals. So, I really just think it's crucial for both personal and financial success because it just gives you purpose and it gives you that direction and the guidance that you need. Again, this is mostly just for beginners. And if you're not a beginner and you feel that you're a pro at setting goals, and that's great, you can still listen in. But setting goals can be empowering, especially when you set minor and small milestones and you achieve them quickly. It helps to make you just visualize where you want to be, and it creates that roadmap to get there. And like I said, setting milestones along that road and along that journey really does help. Think of strategic goal setting as your personal GPS. It's guiding you every step of the way towards financial stability and success. So, I want to dive into some examples because I think that setting actionable financial goals using the SMART framework, and you a lot of people know what the SMART framework is. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So, I want to give examples, practical examples in the personal financial space because I think it'll really help you as a beginner to really set those goals for yourself. So, the first example, which I think is probably one of the most important things in budgeting 101, is saving for an emergency fund. My mantra is you always want to make sure you have a savings or an emergency fund of at least 3 to 6 months worth of your necessity expenses, your fixed expenses. Now, I'm talking about your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, things that you have to absolutely pay every month. And an emergency fund is in case something happened, you lose your job, or God willing, nothing happens to you. But if something did happen to you, you had to take a leave of absence, or whatever the case is, that's an emergency fund. And you want to be able to tap into that. And setting and aiming to saving specific amounts, like, okay, say you want to save $5,000 in the next, I don't know, 6 months. So your goal would be very specific. You want to make sure that you set small goals towards that 5,000 at the end of 6 months by saving 250, maybe up to $500 each paycheck, not each month, each paycheck. So, another example would be paying off debt. And this is one of my favorite ones because I actually have a live workshop course that I am working on. It's going to be about an hour's worth. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a Q&A at the end. I think it may be beneficial for some people, but paying off debt is one of my favorites because I truly believe in the one method. And there's quite a few methods out there, but I feel the one method that works the best, at least in my own testimony, is the debt snowball effect or the debt snowball method. And it's basically taking all of your credit cards or student loans or personal loans or whatever you have out there as debt and listing them out by the balance. And you were going to pay the minimum required amount due on each credit card except for the smallest balance. And you're going to start paying any extra income that comes your way in your household income every month. You're going to put that towards the smallest balance. And then you do the same thing for the next smallest balance once you pay off the smallest one. And let's just say you want to target paying off a certain credit card, but you want to give yourself at least a year. And let's just say, because, for example, hypothetically speaking, this credit card had a 0% interest for 1 year. And so you don't want to accrue any interest. So you want to make sure you pay off that balance within the given year. Then you're going to take that balance, you're going to divide it by the X amount of paychecks. And I highly recommend by paycheck, and set aside a specific monthly or weekly or bi-weekly amount towards that credit card. Because remember, if that credit card has a 0% interest for another 12 months, you can pay as much as you want and it will not go towards interest. Even if it did have interest, you can still call the credit card company and tell them, hey, I want to pay an X amount of money towards my principal balance. And they will do that for you. So I don't want to get too much into the debt because it is my passion in that space, paying off debt, but that's an example of setting a specific goal. Now, my third example is investing. Maybe you plan to start investing a fixed amount each month or each paycheck into a retirement account, and that is possible. There are countless companies out there where you can contribute. If it's not a 401k of an employer that you're working with, then it's going to be an outside company that is usually called an IRA. So you can set a specific amount, maybe every paycheck or every month, work with a financial advisor and set that aside for retirement fund. Those are just small examples or a few examples of setting specific goals for your finances. Now, you want to set and achieve these goals by, first, you want to identify the goal. So again, be very specific about what you want to achieve. What do you want? Do you want financial freedom in the next 2 years? Do you want to save for a house? Maybe you want to save for a car. Maybe you want to go travel. Maybe you want to go to Europe for 2 weeks or something. You want to identify what specifically that goal is. And then you want to break it down. You want to divide your goal into smaller but manageable tasks. So, again, like I said, if you have small milestones to meet, maybe by paycheck, and you'll start to see the savings build up, then that is a little bit more empowering for you, especially as a beginner. And then you want to track your progress. So you want to make sure you regularly review your progress and adjust your plan as needed. Because if you say you so happen to have 3 months of savings already, and you are at, I'm talking about the emergency fund, if you are at the second month and you're already 3 months, let's make some adjustments, because now you're progressing very well and ahead of schedule. So maybe adjust the schedule, maybe adjust your plan to have that 6 months of savings. And then lastly, stay committed. Keep your goal in mind at all times. Stay motivated by celebrating those small wins. That's why I highly recommend that you set your goals specifically, set them by paycheck. Because every time you get paid, you could set aside an X amount of money for whatever goals that there is, and create a savings account. Maybe at your bank, you can set up a standalone savings account and just put all that money in there, and that will be specific to your goals. Anything that, so that you don't touch it. So, I want to get into how do we integrate life goals with financial goals, because I feel like those they do correlate in some ways. So, a holistic approach integrates your personal life goals with your financial goals, and making sure that your overall well-being is in place, and balancing your aspirations with financial planning can really help you to live a fulfilling life, or at least I seem to think so, because I feel if you plan your finances out effectively, you can live a fulfilling life without compromising your financial health. For example, if your goal is to travel more, plan your finances to include a travel fund. Or maybe you aspire to further your education. Then you can budget for tuition and related expenses. And you set a date for these. If you plan to travel next year, then you have 12 months, or next December, you have 12 months to fulfill this travel fund. That way, you're not scrambling last minute to find money to go and travel. But the key is to align your financial goals with your personal dreams, creating a balanced and satisfying life. I'm not saying that, you know what, you want to be on a strict financial plan. You cannot go travel. You can't do this. You can't do that. No, you need to have a balance. Now, if you're really serious about paying off your debt and being debt free and having that financial freedom within the next year, then I would say you need to make some sacrifices and not travel and not do certain things. You'd be eating eggs and potatoes every day for breakfast. But honestly, if there's a will, there's a way. There's always a way. So, just a few tips for finding that balance. Number one, you want to prioritize. Determine what matters most to you and allocate your resources accordingly. So, I'm going to say that again. Determine what matters most to you and allocate your resources accordingly. Number two, you want to be flexible. Adjust your goals as your circumstances and priorities change, because we know life happens, things happen, and maybe along the way you wanted to travel and 6 months from now you broke your foot or something. I don't know. Things happen. So you want to make sure you're always flexible and adjust your goals as necessary. And lastly, you want to maintain perspective. And what I mean by that is you want to remember that financial planning is a tool to help you achieve your life goals. It's not an end in itself, okay? Just remember that it's a tool. Financial planning is a tool. It's going to help you to achieve your life goals as well as your financial goals. So I want to make the connection to personal finances, though, with your life goals. Achieving your life and financial goals enhances, obviously, financial stability and overall well being. And by setting and reaching your goals, you build a solid financial foundation that supports your dreams. I want you to take a moment and reflect on this. Just take a moment to reflect on your own goals, if you have any. How do they relate to your financial health? What steps can you take today to move closer to those aspirations? Okay, so just take a moment, reflect on your goals, reflect on what you have going on. How does that impact your financial health? How does it relate to your financial health? Are you constantly stressed every day because you can't pay a bill, or every month when you get paid, you are depressed because I don't even got enough money to cover my mortgage this month? Or I don't have enough money to pay for rent. I don't have enough money to pay for my light bill. I got to find some extra cash, or I got to borrow some extra cash. Think about your health overall. What does that do to your health? You're stressed. You have to make sacrifices. And it's daunting. And I get it. I get it. I've been there. But this is why it's so important to reflect on your own goals. You've got to set goals. Financial planning is so important. So let's recap. We've explored the power of strategic goal setting. We've talked about how to set actionable financial goals and the importance of integrating your life goals with financial planning. But I want you to always remember that you have the power to transform your future. You are in control of your life and of your finances. You are the one that makes those decisions. So planning strategically, effectively, will set the tone for your financial future. And I want to leave you with this. Every step that you take towards your goals is a step towards a brighter future. Believe in your ability to create positive change and stay committed to your journey. Your future is in your hands. You have control over your finances, not anybody else, unless you do have somebody else that does. But partnership, communication. If you are married or you're living with someone, communicate about your finances. You need to have a partnership in this, especially when it comes to finances. Finances is the number one reason for divorces, because people don't communicate. Either that, or people did not communicate before getting into the relationship or into the marriage. I'm telling you, it happens every single time. And I'm so passionate about this because I feel like it's such an easy way. Financial planning is so easy. You just need the tools to help you get started and the discipline and the commitment to staying debt free. I just want to say thank you because this is now my fourth episode, and I appreciate your support for tuning in. But if you did find this episode really helpful or even inspiring, and you feel you want to share it with someone who might even benefit from it, please do. And don't forget to follow or subscribe for more exciting and insightful episodes. I do have a website. It's called Prosperity and Grace, A-N-D, prosperityandgrace.com. And I have a mailing list. Subscribe to my mailing list. I have so many exciting things coming with digital courses for just beginners. And once I build that beginners community, you will be at the point where you will be advanced. And I want to create a digital course for those that are in the advanced. Or say you are already advanced, say you already know how to budget and you don't need the basic of budgeting. Okay, I get that. So you want to know all about passive income, how to supplement my income through business opportunities. I'm telling you, there's so many great ideas that I have that I want to share with you that I feel like would be super beneficial to your future, your future's financial stability and security. And I just really hope that you stay tuned every week, subscribe, following me on Instagram, Prosperity and Grace, and we'll talk soon. So until then, take care and God bless.